The Reece and Rob podcast.
Are we in there? You turn it into a beat. Turn it. Oh, is this ASMR?
It is indeed.
All right, are you ready? What have we learned from today's lesson?
Paper, rock, scissors, my G. You expecting me to fold?
Bruh.
Did you expect me to fold? What's that sigh?
That's a sadness sigh.
Yeah. I'm not all that sad. I know the song.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not all that sad.
Daft Punk forever. Real ones to know.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I don't give. I'm not saying I don't care at all. But I wasn't like a super fan. Like I wasn't listening to that. I wasn't riding around listening to Daft Punk. I appreciated it. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely wasn't riding around listening to Daft Punk.
You don't seem like the kind of
the
guy
you
to
know,
do that.
I'm not mad at it though. It's it's good, you know. It's good for what it's for.
Almost 30 years. I mean, they definitely have an imprint on our music world, and I think it's just how they ended. I don't know if you saw the video. Did you watch the video?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I actually, I think sometimes when I see things like this, especially for a group who's been together for so long.
Yeah.
Number one, there's always room for a reunion, right? So like, let's just throw that out there. And number two, I wonder like what comes next for guys like these. Is it that you want to spend time with the fam? Is it that you want to pursue different creative endeavors? Like I kind of
feel like they could have done that though, because they were just so ambiguous. They never really, their identities weren't hidden, but
but I guess
they can go into grocery stores and live their life normally because they always had
but
helmets
when you're
on.
in it though, when you're in this thing, when you're in this industry and you're always on tour, like how much of a toll does that take on you just being a normal human being?
That's
right?
true. 30 years of touring and
30 years of touring like crazy.
Yeah. I get it. It's just, I'm just sad. I just wanted to, give my little tribute. And I kind of wish that I saw them in concert, So I will just hope and pray for a reunion tour, like I hope and pray for a Sade performance.
It could happen, It could happen. Stranger things have happened,
We'll see.
It could happen.
Episode 56 of the Reece and Rob podcast.
Episode 56.
I am Rob.
I am Reece.
Yeah. And man, we had our little social media page today ripping and running off of your insane idea that rock doesn't come first.
It's not insane, to each his own.
Bro, you literally were outnumbered by literally
That's
everybody.
Totally fine. I think sometimes it's a good thing to be outnumbered. It's okay. It's not a bad thing to be outnumbered. Everybody says it's not always the golden answer. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel. I know that everybody else might feel opposite. One thing I remember people having arguments with me and be like, well, everybody else thinks. And I'd be like, man, that's not a good argument.
Okay.
It's not a good argument.
I guess. You could be
and you know what? Let me say this. I'm not even saying that rock, paper, scissors is wrong. Mm-hmm. Because like I've actually done it that way before. But like I've, my auto is paper, rock, scissors. Like that's my auto. When I say what the game is, I say paper, rock, scissors. When I paper, rock, scissors, shoot. I've always done it that way. And I feel like I've done it that way with other people. So I don't know if it was just like maybe I led that or whatever. And that could be the case. But that is how I've always done it.
The comments today have me rolling. I ain't never laughed so hard.
My man EXO.
Oh my gosh.
He said something crazy.
What did he say?
He said he was talking about some kid who used to say scissors, rock, paper, and he was like something, he said
he kept him at arm's length.
It's like I kept that
like
psycho at arm's length. Called him a psycho. I'm like, damn, yo, like is it that serious? Like, are we calling people psychos? Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, turn the
What?
Is it too late to turn the light on?
Oh no, we can. Turn it on. Give it a little. Himalayan salt lamp.
Okay.
It's a vibe. Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things that I saw. Do we care about? Bobby Shmurda is out.
Yeah, of course we care about that.
Okay.
It's part of the culture. I'm excited I'm excited to see what, I think that the first show that he has, he performs that song, is going to be explosive.
Yeah.
Like, that is going to be a whole entire
it's
wave.
that beat, yo. Like, I just...
It's the dance too, like it's the whole.
Can you do the dance? I'm
not smoothly. It doesn't look that good. It doesn't look as good when I do it, so I'm not gonna do it.
You're not gonna do it?
Absolutely not. I'm not gonna make myself
when
look
this
like that.
came on in the club,
Jello beats, holla at me.
Go.
No, don't put the attention on me, please. I'm good.
Go. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Bobby Shmurda's out. Okay. Also, Kim and Kanye is officially divorcing.
Is anybody surprised by that?
I always root for every couple. I do.
I don't.
All right. So, do you care about Meg Thee Stallion and Party Fontaine?
I don't know that guy.
Just because do you know Kanye?
I know Kanye.
Yeah. You have his number?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't know who Party Fontaine is.
Oh, in general.
I don't even know what he is. I don't know who he is at all.
I don't know this man.
I don't know that guy. So you know what, man? Like, let that woman be. I don't know who is Party. Like, what is he? Is he a rapper?
Yeah,
I'm not familiar. No, I'm not familiar at all.
Yeah, he's a rapper. That was you.
I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
I mean, legit. Like, I don't know who that guy is. I have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those were the headlines that I saw. I wanted to.
I hope they're happy. But I hope they make each other happy.
Yeah, I hope so too. Who was she with before? Moneybagg.
She was with Tory before new dude.
Yeah, you see Tory's hairline, bro.
Yo, okay, let's address this real quick, right? Because I know a ton, like even LeBron, right? Like what I struggle with, and I'm being a little bit callous because I have hair. I have a full head of hair.
Yeah, you're quite you can lend some.
I don't think I'm gonna lose my hair at this point. It's pretty late in the game, right? So maybe I'm being a little bit callous or crass or whatever, right? But like, why do people hold on? What are you holding on for, yo? Let it go. Shave it bald. It's a great look. It could be a really great look. And everybody, nobody's judging anybody with a baldy. Like, let it go. Just get rid of it. Like, what are we doing?
I'm so happy I don't have the song "Let It Go" in my current
I'm happy
Serato.
that you don't have that because we don't need that right now. That's not what I need.
I was looking for "Let It Go." Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody would like to explain that, please tell us why you haven't let go of your hair. If you have no hair, let it go. It's all right. Get the baldy. It's a better look. It looks much better.
Some people don't look good bald though. Some people don't have the good head. It's the head shape.
So do you look better with a Tory though, or LeBron? I mean, like, you can't tell me that looks good. That doesn't look good either. It's a bad look. LeBron probably maybe his head ain't shaped for that.
I'm not gonna judge people's heads because I don't know. But I do want to say prayers up for Tiger Woods. He got in a car accident this morning in LA, and
there's no news on that right now, huh?
Not as of right now. So hopefully when this drops, he's recovering well. He survives because I don't know. I feel like every February we always hear crazy news. Are you looking up right now?
I am.
Yeah, it just says he's badly injured. That's it. That's all we have. Multiple leg injuries.
Damn. Well, let's hope he's okay. Cause that's
I hope he's okay. Prayers up for him and his family during this time. It sucks when you have a loved one in the hospital.
Absolutely,
man. And also while we're praying, of course, we have Texas on our heart and on our mind. Last week was a shit show. I'm just always, I dive in head first in other people's like horror stories, like as if it's me, and my heart was just breaking for all of the families that were affected by the snowstorm and the lack of government that could have prevented this piss poorness. Climate change is real. So, yeah.
I saw a picture today of a girl from Texas. We follow each other, right? She lives in Austin. And it's like this side by side. It's like what a difference a week makes.
Yeah.
And like the one on the left, she was outside in the fur, and the one on the right, she was outside in shorts with all the snow melted. So I'm hoping that they're back.
They're back. All the snow's melted.
Warm weather.
But it went from like -2 degrees to 70 in a week's time frame. That's not normal. That is not normal. That is not normal. We, it's wild how people are still in denial.
Definitely different.
But I definitely wanted to, say something to them. How was your week? Other than that,
it's a week of ups and downs. Ups and downs, ebbs and flows, ups and downs.
You want to talk about what great news we had this today?
So a lot of that we went on a vacation.
We did.
We haven't said where we went yet.
We will.
We will.
For those that keep harassing us,
yes,
we will.
We will tell you.
COVID cases are going down. People are getting out traveling again. We'll drop all the gems and jewels.
Yeah. So we went on a vacation for Rye's birthday. And we're married now.
We are.
So I don't know if you guys can put 2 and 2 together, but we've been a little bit reckless.
We have.
A little bit reckless.
We have been reckless. Yeah, we have been. And so, we kind of came back like, shit.
First of all, I'm going to say this. The night in question, several bottles of rum.
I mean, you guys saw the recap. If you guys saw the recap of our trip, you basically saw how drunk we were. Lots and lots and lots and lots of shots.
Of rum.
Yes, way too many shots of rum. And so then we came back like, dang, am I pregnant or nah? Now, mind you, we are definitely not planning on getting pregnant.
Not right now.
In the year 2021, the year of our Lord.
Not right now.
So that was kind of like, man, but life happens, and we were like, okay, we have to be prepared regardless of what the scenario is going to be. But the waiting time up until for sure is so stressful. And
I was chilling.
You was low key nervous. There was moments where you were nervous.
There was not a single moment. I was chilling hard, and you kept looking at me like, you want this, don't you? And I'm like, no, I'm just chilling.
You wanted it.
No, I'm just chilling. Like, I wasn't stressed because, like, either way.
Listen, I just
you know what I mean? Either way, it was going to be fine.
Either way, it was going to be fine, but I really, really, really wasn't wanting a Scorpio child. No shade to all my Scorpio friends and family, but
shade to all my Scorpio friends and family.
I didn't want a Scorpio.
I'm gonna throw the Scorpio shade out there.
I didn't want a Scorpio. I was like,
Scorpio bashing.
But it was interesting because up until this month, we've been really careful and really mindful of that. So that was a very interesting time for us because it was the anxiousness of waiting, the anxiousness of finding out the results. It wasn't
even just that. Like you and I, we've been. It's been a high anxiety 2 weeks for both of us.
But I feel like waiting for the results of a pregnancy test is very symbolic of how we feel as we move through life, whether it's a new job, whether it's a text back from the boy you text, from the guy you texted, like after you like spilled out your whole soul and you get left on red, you're just like, what is he going to say? That waiting time. It's that swelling of emotions. It's that what if this? What if I am pregnant? What if I'm not pregnant? What if I do get the job? What if I don't get the job? What if he does ask me out on a date? What if he doesn't? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that feeling of just
facts.
Waiting is like, oh my God, it's so much. But I wanted to share that because I recognize that one of the things I admire about you, Reece, as my partner, is that you are a realist when it comes to these type of scenarios. Whereas, and you don't like say best case scenario, but you also don't say worst case scenario. You say middle case scenario.
I say both.
If
it happens, this is what we're going to do. If it doesn't happen, this is what we're going to do.
And I wanted to share that on our podcast. basically, in a nutshell, I wanted to share that on our nutshell.
on
our podcast for anybody that's in the space of waiting. I feel like overall, our entire society and community is in a space of transition. We're coming out of COVID. You know what I mean? We're going into the new unknown. What does that look like? Does it mean what is your situation? Are you happy in your situation? Are you trying to change up your environment? Are you trying to change up your habits? Like how that transition? It's a transition. You know, it's a period of growth and being uncomfortable. You feel me?
I think one of the biggest things when you're in that space is to manage your expectations. Right?
Yes.
Because like what happens? So this is what happens when we either want something really bad or we really don't want something really bad to not happen.
Right.
When you don't want something, you are obsessed about like not getting that outcome. You're like, please no, please
I am guilty.
Please no.
I'm so guilty of that.
When you want something, you're like, please come, please come, please come.
And then when it doesn't happen or doesn't come.
So like I try to be as prepared for either, right? And like you can't fully be prepared for it either, but like just managing your expectations. It can't, your happiness or your peace can't come from either outcome.
Wow.
Because if it does,
say that one more time. Run that back. Run that back.
Your happiness or your peace can't come from either outcome. Because if that's the case, then anything can ruin your peace at any given day. It can just come take your peace. Like that's not an option. Like you have to maintain your peace.
I love Pastor Reece. You be dropping gems. I love it. I love it. No, that's...
Let me pass your collection plate. What you got for the collection plate?
Hey, listen. Speaking of collection plate, if you'd like to support our podcast, please go to our link in bio. Lincoln bio.
Lincoln bio. Okay.
like Abraham Lincoln bio. Mm-hmm. I saw somebody actually type out Lincoln. But yeah, hit our link in our bio on Instagram. Thank you. You need to get a sound drop.
I need to get that sound drop, yeah.
To support our podcast so that we can keep our lights on. Thank you. That's the collection plate. For these gems. Yes. But yeah, that's real. That really is powerful. I think that it can be applicable to anybody's situation, no matter where you are in life.
It's very hard to do. I'm not gonna act like it's not like a hard thing to do.
I haven't mastered it because I was like, I mean, there's so many things going on right now in my life where I'm just like, I'm literally just teeter-tottering on so many different things. And you are helping me to remain balanced and focused. And to be okay with not knowing what the outcome is going to be.
You have to be okay with either outcome. You cannot let an outcome make you crumble, right?
Yeah.
Because
if anything, allow it to open your eyes and to help steer your direction of what you really, really want to do or really want to, make happen. So,
facts.
Big facts.
Big facts.
Big facts.
Big. Wait a minute.
Y'all, ladies
I just had
to
get one off because I just got my soundboard
Reece
popping.
Got his soundboard popping, and
for the first time ever.
I
don't know how to act now.
I no longer have control of the sounds. So don't be that guy.
You want one more?
Do you really want to be that guy?
Yeah, I do actually.
Please don't.
Yeah, I actually do.
No.
You know I like.
Let's
this type
not
of shit.
and say we did.
You know I like this type of shit.
So the other day you were talking about the transference of energy, which do you remember? Do you remember what we were talking about?
I remember some of the things we were talking about.
You were discussing, I mean, because you are a big person of energy, all right? And
yes.
Everybody's using the word nowadays, so it's kind of like, yeah. But
so I remember what we were talking about.
So
I can speak from my perspective. I know a lot of people have a different perspective about this. I think that women deal with energies better than men. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't know why is that. Maybe it's because women are dealing with women's energies all the time, and if you let that affect you, you'd probably just be. But as men, let me be more specific. Black men, right? Black men and energy is everything. Your tone, your stance, and the way you poke your chest out, what you say to me can literally be that like. It can literally change my pleasant exterior to what? Right? Like real fast. Like energy, like in transference of energy. Like you feel people's energy. And go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that really lands on your ego. There's levels and layers.
You know what? I won't necessarily deny that, but so this is twofold. Okay. So maybe it is ego, right? Mm-hmm. So let's for a second, let's just roll with that for a second. As men, we need to check our ego. That's a fact. But that is not an excuse for people to have bad energy or to talk to you like shit or to give you attitude, because that is a problem with somebody else's energy. And I think that it can border on disrespect. And I think that, so the one thing I will say to be true is you can't control anybody, right? And I think sometimes, like men, our bravado, our immediate reaction to either want to fight or curse or scream, like there is ego in that. Right. Yeah. But I also I think that sometimes it's really well placed, because that's a mechanism to keep that energy up off of you. I think there's better mechanisms than using your ego, though. Right. It's just not always easy, because the first instinct is to get that energy away from you. And sometimes that energy is like, well, I'm going to fight you, or I'm going to speak my mind, or I'm going to put you in your place, or I'm going to do whatever it is. I'm never going to accept anybody's bullshit just because, right? And I think that unfortunately sometimes people look at men who respond to that and say that's ego. Well, what is it when a person's giving you bad energy though? Like, what is that?
That's ego.
Yeah,
it's also ego. We're not going to deny that.
Yeah,
we're not going to say it's. I mean, a lot of our emotions reside. Where do emotions reside? Where do emotions reside? A lot of our emotions reside in the ego sphere. Our anger, our sadness, which is why when you're like meditating, if you're practicing mindfulness, that is the time to really dig deeper than where your mind is, in order to channel that center, so that you're not triggered by the distractions and the responses and all the things that are going on around you. You know what I mean? I can say, for example, and this is kind of a sidebar, but kind of applicable. Road rage, right?
Yeah.
I know that I used to have a lot of road rage. And when I started intentionally, getting my mind in a space where I'm not as triggered by the idiots on the road, I realized that my driving, I wasn't as bothered. Like, so if there was an idiot in front of me or behind me or next to me, they would do something that like cut me off or whatever. Old Ra would freak out, flick him the finger, threaten to get out the car, whatever. Where now, and that's the ego response. Whereas in now, I haven't mastered, but I've gotten a lot better at channeling a deeper part of me that is not as triggered to those type of situations that are going on around me. And I think that you can apply that to almost any situation. So when you have, I think we've talked about this before, when you have a very rude person in front of you, like let's say at the store, let's say you're in a fast food, you're getting food, and the person that's taking your order has an attitude for no reason that triggers you. Whereas, and if you have really focused on centering yourself, your response may not be as effective. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm talking in circles, but
so I mean, I have like one more thought about that, right? So I read something the other day that I thought was really powerful, and it was this question. It wasn't even a question. It was a statement of like, you don't have to match everybody's energy. Right. Like I stopped trying to match other people's energy. Right. Like so you don't necessarily have to respond with the same like low frequency energy.
Yeah, that's exhausting.
I get that. But maybe I'm tripping here. Is there value in having some pride to yourself? Like, to me, I think that there's an immense amount of value. It keeps you from being walked over. It keeps you from allowing certain things to happen to you in your life. Right.
I can agree to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's my final thought on that.
Yeah.
Because energy transference is so real. And I think that some people, like one of the things that like I have a tough time with is like people can ruin your energy and then go about their day unbothered.
But
right?
you can't allow it to get to you.
It's an energy transference though. But that's why really, I think it's really a real thing. It's a very real thing.
Right. But that's when I talk about blocking. Like that's when I'm talking about and when it comes to
How do you block?
I am not equipped to tell you how, because I'm still trying to figure it out myself, and it is something that you have to practice. That's all I can tell you, is that you have to practice it. And it does come from mindfulness meditation. Like, I don't know how else to do it, but there are a lot of people who do this for a living who show you and teach you how to block that type of stuff from coming in and affecting your day.
I've only got 2 responses, and I've got to work on both.
And I feel like, honestly, I feel like you know that based off of your answer when it comes to not knowing the results of whatever it is that you're waiting on.
Not knowing didn't offend me. Not knowing didn't try me. And we're not going to say intentionally or not.
Right, but what I'm saying is not knowing is not the offense. It's the result that could either be the offense or the positive.
Like they're so vastly different, though.
It's still something that's coming to you.
But I'm very uncomfortable. I'm very comfortable with the unknown. Like, I'm extremely comfortable with the unknown.
I'm not talking about the uncomfortableness of the unknown. We know you are okay in that space. Not a lot of people are, but that's not what I'm talking about.
And tones.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, in our previous conversation, when we were talking about the anxiety of waiting, right? Waiting for the pregnancy test results, waiting for if we got a job, waiting for if a person texts back, right? We were discussing that, and you dropped a gem about being okay regardless and not allowing your peace to be determined on the result of whatever it is that you're waiting for. Remember that just now?
Yeah.
We just discussed that. Can that not be applied to anybody's energy coming towards you, whether or not it's positive or negative? If it's positive, it's positive. If it's negative, it's negative. Should your response still be the same?
So right now, I have to answer this like based on where I'm at currently.
Okay.
Right? So right now, no, I cannot be unbothered. I have 2 responses.
Okay.
And that is to...
But do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand perfectly what you're saying. I think, so one of my responses is actually a solution. It kind of keeps me unbothered.
Okay.
Right? So the one solution that I have is to not engage and to get away, right? And that's a great solution. It's easy to do, right?
It is.
But it doesn't become so easy when you are going through it with people that you have to deal with on a continuous basis. That's when things get iffy and a little bit sticky, because and this is ego, but like the theory is if you let somebody get away with it once, they'll do it forever. You literally teach people how to treat you. I think that's a fact, right?
Okay.
So I can't help but respond sometimes. And I know I need to dial it back and to really like tune in. I think the only way that I can dial it back and maybe respond better later is if I always walk away. It's the only solution I have. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that that's the only solution I'll ever have. I hope to evolve.
It's currently.
Yeah, I hope to evolve into the type of person who can handle those type of situations. But even still, I would prefer not to have that happen with the people that want to be in my life. I would prefer for the people in my life to actually care enough to try. And if you mess up and we get off, let's just apologize to each other and let it go. That's the two, like, to me, that like it is sometimes it's conditional. If you're a stranger, I don't have to deal with you.
But to the people that you care about,
yes,
you want effort.
Absolutely.
From all parties involved.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
And I feel like communication in that aspect is also important, because conversations like this need to happen so that any party involved, that
people know where they stand, what
exactly,
they did.
because there's some people who you might love and you're just so upset at because they're not doing they keep coming at you a certain type of way, and you're not telling them how you feel, and you just getting upset every time. Yeah. And they have no idea that they're offending you.
No, you got to talk.
That's problematic.
You got to speak up.
You got to talk. You got to speak up. And we actually just did an interview with my my old professor from college, University of Miami. Shout out to you. And she is honestly everything. Dr. Rose, shout out to you if you are listening. She's working on a new book that's centered around Black love. And it's just, I'm so excited for her work. Her work is phenomenal. She's written numerous books. She tapped us to give an interview as an excerpt for her book. And the interview was really, really amazing. basically asking us about, we recently got married. We're 4 months in. What's it like? The questions that she asked were so like deep. They were simple yet deep because it really centered around communication, honesty, trust, transparency, authenticity. And you had said an answer. I think the word was accountability. Do you remember the question that she asked for you to say that?
Yeah, I don't exactly, but I know that accountability was not the full answer. I know accountability was like this umbrella. It's like this broad thing that I said for something much more. So when I said accountability, I remember the answer was just more so like, yo, so there is an accountability that you have to another person, right?
Right.
Because if it was just the way that I wanted or just what I needed it to be, then you serve yourself.
Right.
If I serve myself, then I don't apologize. I don't accept apologies when people don't apologize. I don't accept people's bullshit. I don't your patience is thin. It's all these things. Right.
Right. And I think that as an accountability partner, to your first point about that energy, and especially to the people that you care about, you have to hold that person accountable for their actions or reactions or lack thereof. If it's bothering you as a partner,
I speak up.
I know, but we sharing. You know what I mean?
We do share for sure.
This is an inside look to our daily conversations that we have all the time that are sometimes uncomfortable. Like
you can't that was one of the biggest lessons I learned from relationships in the past is I definitely gave people lots of passes or lots of surface passes. So I'd give you a pass and I'd let shit slide or let things go. But underneath the surface, I was like, you got one more time. Like, you know what I mean? Like this low key, you got one more time. And like, I really carried it like that. And people probably didn't have any idea that I was like on the verge of spazzing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's not like, I realize how unhealthy that is. Like, because people can't read your mind. You have to tell people what's going on.
Gotta talk.
Yeah.
All right. So switching segments or sections, because I felt like that was solid, right?
That was solid.
That was good.
Absolutely.
You're leaving me hanging.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay.
My bad.
I wasn't clear.
Sure. I wasn't sure what was going on. Communication.
Yeah. Right. Wow. On display. Yesterday, y'all, Reece is a YouTuber. Like, he likes to look at his content on YouTube. You know how we all have our vices, right? I'm more on Instagram and Twitter. Well, you're on Twitter.
I'm Twitter and YouTube.
I'm Instagram and Twitter, and you are YouTube and Twitter. So you are on YouTube, and you are up to date. Well, you try to stay up to date on the new music that's coming out with the hippity hoppers. And all this it's just so much. I honestly can't keep up. I really feel my age now because I can't. But you were watching a video and I happened to glance over and catch a couple of scenes, and I was so bothered by it because I just felt like the video, well, I don't even know who the artist
background,
was.
It was Sheek Louch featuring Benny the Butcher.
Okay.
Something Griselda something. Anyway, tons of bricks of cocaine, lots of women twerking scantily, lots of razor blades, lots of gun talk. There was a gun in the video, just lots of drug reference, and lots of drug paraphernalia, and dope man.
It was
super dope man.
Ah, man. And I don't know,
I found it very cringy.
I was like,
which I understand.
But we then sparked a whole debate around this topic.
It went very deep.
It got deep.
So tell me what you found to be cringy about that video.
I found to be cringy.
Exactly.
First of all, hip hop and misogyny and the history is a conversation just Google it and you'll see a think piece from every journalist that is in the industry known to man. It's been talked about, berated, and talked about, and still talked about. It exists, right? We are all aware. But I think what's discouraging to me is that in that scenario where it's a hip hop artist who consciously decided to make a video about his song and then consciously decided to showcase, bricks of cocaine and, scantily clad women, which that's a whole nother conversation for another day. but like this almost like this persona, as if it's really cool to sell drugs, and you're not really doing it right now. Like, it's a difference from, okay, like, so for example, like if we talk about like drug dealers like Jay-Z, Jeezy, all of these guys who were from, like, you know, they grew up on the streets and they actually did this shit for a living, right? When they talk in their rhymes, you actually know that this is like the block that I was on, and who the hell am I? I'm blackish as hell, raised in the suburbs, went to private school. So, you know, my scope of view is extremely on the outside. I'm definitely on the bleachers looking in. However, you know, when I see this and I'm like, all right, in 2021, do you still feel the need to do that, to still get your message across? And why? Right. I just needed to, so, my question, if I had a chance to interview, what's his name?
Sheek Louch.
Sheek Louch right now, like, why did you feel you had to display bricks of cocaine? Is that what you're doing right now? Like, is that what's happening right now?
So my response to that, right, before we get to the larger thing that we started talking about, my whole entire response to that is I feel very contradictory towards the whole thing, because I can look at that and be like, damn, that's all we do. That's all you want to show of us, right? And I can also look at it as entertainment, and I can also look at it and enjoy it, which is so much contradiction.
Out of all the things to be entertained by.
I also feel the same way, literally across the board with our culture, like our music culture, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like our music culture is the display of every stereotype available. So whether it be bricks of coke, or Megan and Cardi twerking, or whether it be all these different things. And then we got into this debate about that, because for you, I think you were just pointing at like, well, why is it a big deal that Cardi and Megan does this thing and whoop, whoop, whoop. And I want to be perfectly clear. One second. Let me finish this thought. I want to be perfectly clear. By no means am I telling you that my contradictory thoughts towards Sheek Louch and Benny are any different than my contradictory thoughts towards Megan and Cardi. Because if you ask me on Friday, I'm gonna be like, throw that ass in a circle, yes. You ask me on Sunday, I'm gonna be like, Lord, shame the devil, right? You gotta ask me, like, is these different days, is these different ways that I feel, and I feel it all, and I feel every single point the same way you felt about Benny and Sheek, the same way that I feel about like twerking and certain things. I'm not condemning twerking, because like I told you, there are days when I absolutely like am over the moon, and I think it's beautiful, and I think it's art, and I think, yo, be free as you want. Then there's also days when I'm like, damn, this is all we do. Is this all we can do? Is this the best that we can show? Is this what our culture is?
And we talked about this before. The only thing
people think about us.
We talked about this before on this podcast. So this is nothing new that we've talked about.
And then I asked you a very important question, and we got really deep into this debate, right? Yeah. I remember us getting deep into the debate, and the one question that I have to ask.
So before you get into the question, so remember this video that we're looking at? It had the bricks of cocaine, and they were, you know, glamorizing selling drugs, and then women twerking, and that was the video. There was women twerking, and I was kind of like, okay. Then you kind of were like, well, what's the difference between like this and like a Megan and Cardi twerk video, where, you know, you watch and you're just like, yes, get it, you know, how is it different, right? I think that's kind of where the conversation steered, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then I basically said, you know, well, women, those two women, not to condone or praise what they did, because it's their prerogative. The reason why I support that is because they are controlling the narrative. So in this particular video, the women are being hired by men.
But are they controlling the narrative? I mean, because the narrative exists outside of their art. Like, the narrative is this thing in the atmosphere that people observe. Like, and then the narrative gets ran.
When I say the narrative, I mean, like, they, as an artist, I'm pretty sure Cardi had a lot of say in what she wanted and didn't want in her video.
Well, she's controlling her body in the video and the art.
Is that not the narrative?
I don't know. Like,
it is.
Well, when I say the narrative, I talk about the stereotype of black women. I think about the stereotype of black women, and then I think about, I don't want to ask that question yet, because I was about to ask a question right after I said that, but I'll hold off on the question.
Well, no, I just wanted to just kind of guide folks listening in on how we ended up to
I believe that they're in control of their art. I believe that they're in control of their bodies and how they present themselves. They're in control of that for sure. The narrative, though, right? I think that you don't.
How is that not the narrative? Their narrative.
It's their narrative, right? They have control over their narrative, but do they have control over the narrative of black women being over-sexualized or hypersexual? Like, do they have control over that narrative?
No, well, I feel like that's what women are trying to take back control of.
Okay.
Which is, I think, part of my response to the question that you asked. So ask the question.
So the question is, right, because like I haven't had this conversation with many black women at all, so I need to know more, right? But I observe a lot, and Twitter is my space. Right. So I see women, literally women who I know, who shall remain anonymous, women who I know who will retweet certain videos that are very sexualized and like, yes, bitch. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm not mad at. But then I'll also see women talk about like Chloe Bailey and like, oh my God, there they go again, over-sexualizing this little girl. Right. And I think to myself, like, okay, and don't get me wrong, I need clarification. I need to be enlightened, right? Because the question that I asked then is like, if we are presenting like a hypersexualized message, like how are people over or hypersexualizing women? I need to know what that means.
Okay, so I think there's like two different arguments in this question, right? Okay. And we need to gather some context. I'll first off start by saying, overall, I feel like I'm in a class with my professor, but or I'm on Clubhouse, you know, like when they start talking in that crazy, I'll circle back and piggyback, and anyway, so the history of women, and in particular black women, runs so far back, and the over-sexualization of us as a kind runs back to like literally the beginning of time.
What does over-sexualization mean?
Over-sexual, like the sexualization of our bodies. I mean, let me get in my thoughts out before you come in with the second question. Okay. All right. So like, we are all aware that we live in a patriarchal capitalistic society, right? We can all agree. You can't agree with that?
I'll agree.
Okay. No? You sound hesitant.
No. I'm listening.
We live in a patriarchal capitalistic society, just from the beginning of time, just how everything is moved, how our government is structured, how land is created, how business opportunities are given, like everything, how women have to fight for higher pay. I mean, we are not equal. It's very obvious across the entire globe and world. That's just the beginning. Then when it comes to us as women, I mean, black people, we suffer on the bottom of the totem pole in terms of just human rights. But as terms of women, they also are on this, they're below men, and they have been treated as such for centuries through misogynistic behaviors. And it has gone on for so long that women are trying to use their voice to get that control from him to her.
So it's not a man using a woman's sexuality, but a woman using a woman's sexuality.
Exactly. It is not for a man to determine how their body must be viewed. And so the over-sexualization, which is why I said it's like a two-part, because the over-sexualization is because it's coming from a narrative by someone who doesn't have the right to tell us what we can and can't do about our bodies. So you bring up the Megs, the Cardis, the Chloe Baileys, and all of that. And the problem with that is that, one, it's none of our goddamn business.
No, it's never none of our business.
And two, it's like, why is it that most people who have an issue are thinking in that capitalistic, that patriarchal mindset, where it's like, in order for you know, why is she, if Chloe wants to do what she wants with her body, that's hers, like it literally belongs to no one but herself, then that is her prerogative. But people are saying, well, she needs to do this and she needs to do that because of what? Because of who?
So I'll say neither, right? I say she needs to do nothing. I think the question that I have is like, when it comes to women, like I feel like there's women are just saying like, I'm going to take control and ownership of my sexuality, but don't sexualize me while I do it. Like what?
But some women,
I don't know what that means.
Some women don't mind being sexualized. I think that's what we're like harping on the word sex, right? Which is obvious that it sells.
Yeah.
If sex sells, if sex is usually if the product of sex is usually based off of a woman, then the woman needs to get the dollar.
I agree.
And that's the problem. If sex sells, then why are we not paid for? Like, you know what I'm saying? If sex sells and women is God and God is the earth.
So now, now
saying?
women are taking, so because I can agree, because like you see way more control with, and let me not say way more control because shit is still a little bit weird.
It's a lot bit weird. We got a long way to go.
But women, you know, through certain means, through social media, through OnlyFans, through, you know, whatever platform, women are controlling how that money is being earned and how they choose to portray themselves.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's, okay. And that's surface level. Like we could really, really get into it and really dig deep. But I feel like that is the basis of where the argument comes from. So when I saw that video, and I don't have a problem with strippers, I never did, I never will. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the objectification of our body for a man's pleasure, you know, when it's to benefit him and not her, really is what I have a problem with. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm just kind of like, you know, why a video by Chloe Bailey, you know, showing herself, falling in love with her body, falling in love with her curves, being able to express what she loves about herself is like, okay, I could get into that. You know?
Just enlightened me. You did. You just opened up my mind to a whole nother thing.
And I'll even throw another one, like the whole Lori Harvey joint, right? everybody's going in about that.
Why are people talking about Lori Harvey?
Exactly, because they want to, and they have. It's nothing to talk about. It's nothing to freaking talk about.
First of all, real quick, I'm just gonna get this out the way.
Okay.
I think that Boosie's bugging, right? I think that Boosie's bugging. I think Boosie needs to stop talking on social media. No disrespect to the man, but at the end of the day, like in a lot of my dudes, like dudes who I grew up with.
That's what I'm saying. Boosie is a voice for so many men.
Yeah, I've heard my dudes had this conversation before, and I think at the end of the day, like, nigga, what's your body count?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and at the end of the day, like, are you worthy to the type of woman that you want?
Right.
And if you have to ask that question, or if you don't think that it should be like a two-sided question, I think that that's a little bit of a.
Yeah, man.
I've never asked a woman's body count. I don't care. Now, let me say I don't care.
Talk about it.
I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't care though. Like,
do you?
Know what I'm saying? Like,
do you not care?
It's not a conversation to have. I feel like it's not a conversation to have.
Listen, I kind of went in a little bit on that, but
you really opened my eyes up. To be perfectly honest with you.
There's a book that I started to read last summer with the homies from Controllerize, and it's a book. It's called The Will to Change by Bell Hooks, and it talks about men, masculinity, and love. And we started to dissect the book as a group, right? And we were trying to have a conversation about it on. We tried to do the podcast, but of course things didn't really pan out. But this book is honestly eye-opening, and I really think we should read this together. And if you are a book reader, The Will to Change is deep, and it goes so deep into patriarchal capitalism, and it goes so deep as to why what I'm talking about needs to be talked about more in relation to feminism and owning what we deserve, what is ours, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's called The Will to Change by Bell Hooks. She's a phenomenal author. And she's also written a book called All About Love, which is on my to-do list to read. So I just wanted to put that out there. Are you down to read it with me?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
I know we doing Promised Land right now with Barack.
Yeah.
Such a wordy book, but
yeah. Thank you for putting me on.
You're welcome. Any closing thoughts on that? I went in a little bit.
Let these women live their life.
You would think it'd be so easy, eh? No.
Yeah, everybody's not as enlightened or open to being enlightened. I think we've had a lot of programming.
Yeah,
a lot of us have had
lots of unlearning to do. Yeah,
even women have been programmed the same way that men have been programmed.
And I'm like you. I'm not gonna even sit here and sit on a high horse and be like, oh my god, because I'm contradictory as well. Like I love. There's some trap music and trap songs that.
Like I said,
degrade
on Friday,
women, and I'm like,
on Friday, I will throw ones at you. On Saturday, I will throw ones at you. On Sunday, I will be like, you heathen. And really feel all that confliction in myself. And that has to come from somewhere. That's a lot of programming.
Ooh, that's a lot of, we got to dig deep.
That's a lot of programming.
We got to unpack that. We should unpack that.
Yeah.
I don't know if on the podcast, because I know people are probably sick of us, but.
We can.
Pass the aux?
Pass the aux.
Just pass the aux chord, man. Yeah. Just pass the aux chord.
All right, we got to lighten it up just a little bit. I'm going to go first because my song is a throwback. I actually heard it today in the kitchen while I was cooking.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you to Reese's Discover Weekly. So the year is 1994, and we are in Texas. Y'all ready? Shout out to UGK. Hey. Feds in town. See? Damn, misogynistic. Right after that.
I mean, yeah.
Man, but we was in the kitchen. I was like, hey, it was a vibe. It was a vibe.
Jim Jones.
Yeah. Okay. Jim Jones.
So I've been rocking to this Harry Fraud, Jim Jones Fraud Department. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say it's the whole way from beginning to end, skip no songs, but there's a joint on there that I thought is super cool. It's called Say a Prayer. It's one of my favorite joints.
Say a good journalist always reflect the times. You got faith, you always gotta check for signs. Wake up, nigga.
La música de Harry Fraud.
The question is, who's really leading the march? If they follow the light, then you could lead in the dark. They done lit a match to the fuse, we just needed a spark. You can't sit at the table if you got some greed in your heart. This is not a movie where you could just read for the part.
I feel like Jimmy's as cold as he's ever been. To me,
I'm not really a Jim Jones fan.
I've been a Jim Jones fan since the first album.
Yeah, that's definitely regional.
Jim Jones is underrated. He's probably the best out of Dipset, and I don't know that a lot of people is gonna agree with me, and it's okay. Jim Jones is arguably the best out of Dipset.
All right,
the best. Better.
I can't
better
speak
than
to that.
Cam.
So. All right, I'm gonna trust you on that. But yeah, well, this was a great episode. Lessons learned.
Lessons learned.
Yeah, enlightenment all the way. Unpacking, unlearning
all the way around.
Per usual. The pregnancy test was negative. So
wait a minute.
For now. So we can get summertime fine. You know what I'm saying? We back on our health kick. We definitely been drinking way too much and we're super lazy the last couple of weeks and like
lots of water and oranges this week. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Detoxification.
Doctor's orders. We got to get our
veggies and fruits.
Get our ish together. Got to get these gains. So
drink water, eat fruit, vegetables.
Fuck
12. Be careful, nigga.
Yeah.
Be careful when you're drinking bottles of rum in a foreign country. You know what I'm saying? You got to be more careful.
Got to be more careful. I didn't get to play my Monique drop. It's all good. All right.
It's a good show. Solid show.
Until next time.
Deuces.
Deuces.